Oh, yeah, it's the sweet, sweet sounds of another episode of the Social Distance Drinking Club. Thank you guys for joining us. It's after Labor Day. I may have slightly lost my voice, actually. Did I talk too much? Is that a thing?
For you, definitely.
No.
I just respect it. Like Yusuf says he lost his voice, whereas I think Brett, myself, probably everyone watching was like, oh, Yusuf's talking like a normal person at a normal volume. So, because I didn't really notice anything was wrong, but now that you mentioned it, I'm like, oh, wow, he is being awfully,
But we have definitely decided that I only have two volumes, Yusuf and Yusuf louder. Because Yusuf 1 is loud.
There's Yusuf and Yusuf Plus, and then there's like the weird thing that nobody's figured out that's Yusuf Max that you don't have on all platforms.
No, that's turning it to 11. You can't turn it to 11 unless you have that knob. It's turning it to 11. You guys have earned that right. You've done it. What are you drinking? Tell us in the comments. It's the way we start the show. Gentlemen, I'll start with Adam Green. What do you got?
So I had to go with my newest Wren House purchase, Table Mesa. One of those beers that, I read the description. I'm like, that's not normally my style, but it sounded interesting. And in a time like this, where just try as many different things as you can, it is not bad. Not bad at all.
Nice. Mr. Brett Berry, what do you got?
Our friend Ty brought this back to me along with some other things from Hoof Hearted. I'm doing a little bit of a Yusuf with a guava dragon fruit hard seltzer. I'm trying to find a seltzer I actually like, but it's all right.
Speaking of seltzers, I've got another can of what our dear friend PJ brought from Colorado, and this stuff is still good, and the artwork is still fantastic. So there you go. But the color is what threw me off.
I like that can artwork though, and the color is weird, but the can is cool. And I don't know if we talk enough about can art or bottle art, because there's a lot of people, we don't actually buy beers because of the bottles or the cans look like, but I'm sure a lot of people do. And we notice when there's a cool can, we understand that, but it's a big part of the industry that I don't think we talk enough about.
I think we talked a lot about the I'm asking you nicely art.
Taz, that's a new name. Hey, Taz Sutherland joining us with a red eye rye straight. And that sounds delicious, I think. But yes, I agree. Can art is something that, oddly enough, I have an empty can that I saved that Sam Fraser brought to me because I thought that the artwork was great from 1912. And I think you guys have seen this one.
That's deep.
I think we had that yesterday.
Well, that's a fun piece of can art.
Do you normally save cans, Yusuf, because of the art?
I don't. I wanted to take a photo of this one because I liked it so much. And that speaks leaps and bounds about this can art. I don't normally do it.
Yusuf wanted to photograph it like one of his French cans.
he lies the can down on a couch. And
Nobody wrote,
it's wearing a very large diamond necklace.
Nobody wrote the banner, "Paint me like one of your French cans" on the bottom. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We've got a little bit of booze news and a little bit of hanging out, and it is post-Labor Day weekend. I think everyone is tired. I think.
I mean, the weekend wasn't long enough, if that's what people are thinking, because obviously, 3-day weekends are great. Then you wish they were longer, even still, which I guess goes back to the point where we just want more weekend days or more non-work days. No specific number, just more.
It's fair.
Adam just wants to retire.
I came close a couple times over the last few years.
You came close to retiring a couple times?
It felt that way anyway.
I thought you like made $1 million. We didn't know about it. I was just making sure.
But Brett, you said it's like a bad thing. If you could retire tomorrow, not have to work, but could live comfortably, you saying you wouldn't do it?
Oh, I'd love to not have. I would love to only work when and on what I wanted to.
Yeah, there you go.
That is the best way to put that I've ever heard.
Thanks. Because I don't think I would sit quietly for eternity. I'm an active person, and I'd find things to fill my time with.
Yeah. Yusuf, though, I don't know if he could retire anytime soon.
I don't think I'll ever retire. And no. I am going with Brett's comment on that because his thoughts are my thoughts. I don't think I could actually stop doing stuff. Like I could retire from one thing that I was successful at, but I would have to do something else.
To be fair, I don't know if Yusuf could even sit on his hands and not move for more than 6 minutes.
The only reason I do this show is to keep my hands busy. That's it.
You're still talking with your hands when they're off screen. It's like doing Rubik's Cubes or something, or crochet or some random thing.
If you see my hands go this way, I'm typing.
He's learning to play the piano.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Adam, 2 to 1 odds he has at least one fidget spinner within 6 feet.
I don't. I do not have a fidget spinner, but have I thought about buying one? Maybe.
Oh, man.
Maybe. It's booze news. It's booze news time.
Yeah, there's always news, it seems like, when it comes to the beer or alcohol industry. And a lot of the news lately has been about just how much people are drinking. But we got some news that kind of gets you into what people want to be drinking. Not just what they want to drink, but the specific things that they're enjoying. And I think, Yusuf, you have the images for these things, right?
I do. Indeed.
Actually, I think if we're starting off with the one I'm thinking of here, a friend of mine sent me this link here. It kind of says, stouts and IPAs dominate these 40 American craft beers that are considered among the most delicious. Now, we all know that it's subjective, right? Just because I like something doesn't mean someone else will like it. It's because I give it 4.5 stars and Untappd doesn't mean Yusuf won't give it, 2.75, even though he likes it just as much. So, that's part of it. But I don't think it's a surprise that stouts and IPAs are the ones that are up there because they're the 2 most commonly popular styles. Sours would have a hard time getting up there because it's such a niche type of taste, but stouts, especially IPAs, that makes sense to me.
I found the list interesting. So stouts and IPAs are the 2 things that I feel are most popular with regular beer drinkers, people who don't drink a lot or don't drink beer a lot, rather. Stouts and IPAs, those are your 2 options. I don't think sours.
Lagers.
What's that?
Anheuser-Busch is online too with lagers.
They're not our friends. We're not talking about seltzers or lagers. No, you're right. That's fair. I think those are the 2 craft things that have been made most popular recently. But I found the list very interesting.
Well, and it's American-made beers too, and you go through this list. Part of we might say this is an amazing beer, but it's not mass-produced on a scale where enough people would be able to get it. So that's part of some of these things here. Number 40 is Sierra Nevada's Bigfoot. That's a good beer. Sierra Nevada's a brewery.
There's some things that jump out there that are fairly available that I also don't think belong on this list. Bell's Two Hearted at number 9. No.
Two Hearted's good though, especially when it's fresh.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, but at number 9,
this is a good beer.
But I think part of the issue is the accessibility, right? People are rating beers that they can get. So something like Bell's Two Hearted, which is a good beer, and you can get it pretty much everywhere when it's in season. That's why it's more highly rated, because it's more rated.
Yeah.
But considering that's in the top 10 with Hetty Topper and Pliny the Younger, and that ain't stuff that anybody is getting regularly. So that So there's a few cracks in this list.
Like barrel aged Praxis is number 7. That's one I've never had.
I wanna bring up Hop Slam because that's something that during Arizona Beer Week is a big deal when they do Hop Slam and donuts. It's usually at Hungry Monk. You guys know about that, right?
Hop Slam's good too.
It's a delicious beer. It's meant to be drank fresh, obviously. And when they do the freshest keg possible at Hungry Monk, they do Hop Slam and donuts at 7 a.m. And usually it's an industry event during Arizona Beer Week where everybody goes and gets donuts with their order of Hop Slam. So I'll give some credit to that one.
Yeah, like Assassin from Topping Goliath is number 18. Like that's seems a little rough.
I mean, all I'm saying is it does seem like Bell's sponsored this list and got like names on there.
Hey, Bell, stop sponsoring lists and sponsor us.
Here's a beer we could talk about for a second, though, because Zombie Dust was super awesome for a while, and it has fallen off. I don't know if you guys have had it recently. It was obviously hard to get for a while. You guys had
hard to get.
It's apparently become easier to get.
Well, they don't distribute to Arizona though. Three Floyds.
No, of course not. Because that Three Floyds is the same place that does Dark Lord Day, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely don't distribute to Arizona.
No, and I think, like to your point, Brett, like some of the ones that are on this list, I mean, it is mostly beers that are bigger craft breweries. You know, I mean, there's some on there that are smaller, obviously, but you have like AleSmith, Speedway Stout, the Vietnamese Coffee Edition. That's a good beer, and it's fairly far-reaching. You know, like, but you have also Side Project Fuzzy. Side Project is not a mass available beer. You know, Zombie Dust by Three Floyds is not. Funky Buddha's Morning Wood, that's not one you can easily get. Now that's a good beer right there.
FO made the list.
I was happy I saw Duck Duck Goose on there from Lost Abbey.
But do you guys think it's like we're going through this list? We can parse this all we want because we can say that beer doesn't belong there or this beer should be higher. But I don't think it's fair to almost rate beers against each other when there's completely different styles. You know, because like we've talked about this not on this show. I know Brad and I, and Adam Ledford, who's not here today, we've had that discussion with like Untapped ratings, how it's almost like not fair because people who don't like an IPA or don't like a stout aren't going to grade an IPA or a stout like someone who appreciates or understands those beers. Here, like Fundamental Observation is a completely different beer than Heady Topper or Two Hearted. You know, they're different classes. They're still high-level styles of what they are, but they're completely different beers.
Well, the real question is, where's all the Drecker chonks on here?
Which leads us to another conversation that we could have right now about how people are getting excited about fruited sours because that's what that is. And Drecker, I think, might be the only mass distributed at this point, at least to us in Arizona. I don't know how far distributed Drecker is. Thing close enough to what the Answer in Virginia provides. Because you guys have had some Answer beers, and they are phenomenal. Delicious.
Yes.
But why is everybody so excited about this? Why?
It's different.
It's like, that's like saying, why do people get excited about vanilla ice cream? It's because vanilla is delicious, no matter how much people want to hate on it.
I hate vanilla. I'm going to go have some vanilla ice cream.
Also, we're in Arizona, right? And it's now September 8th, and I know like today's one of the coolest days we've had in a while. It's getting into the 90s. I feel like for a lot of people, a fruited sour makes a lot of sense during the August, July when it's 110. They don't want to drink that barrel-aged stout like I do. It's always stout season in my house. But there's a lot of people who probably look at that fruited sour and say that's more refreshing and more enjoyable on a really hot Arizona day.
I think that.
I mean, I've drank some Drecker in the pool before and very much enjoyed it.
But we've all also had a good stout in the pool and enjoyed it.
I've done that a lot this quarantine. And you want to know how to really dehydrate yourself? Drink some barrel-aged stouts when it's 115 out, your water is 95 degrees. You don't realize how much you're sweating. Yeah, that'll sneak up on you.
Well,
There's other problems.
Adam, you brought up the top rated beers, and we have the Beer Advocate top 250. I'm not going to go through all of it, obviously, but I just want to hit the top 10 here.
No, we should go through all of them, talk about each one for 20 seconds, and then say, next slide.
Oh, so you've been in a lot of Zoom meetings this week.
Like all my life, man.
But can we talk about this name? What was this supposed to be?
I mean, if you have to ask.
You can't afford it.
It's something I want, though.
It had to be a marshmallow stout.
Marshmallow Hangy sounds dirty. So shout out to Three Floyds, the guys behind Zombie Dust.
The notes on that beer says Dark Lord Russian Imperial Stout aged in a variety of bourbon barrels with vanilla beans. Like, tell me you don't want that, and I'll say you're wrong.
I'd pay for a ZJ.
So I was going to say, tell me you wouldn't take a Hangy right now.
I never wanted to say this on the internet, but I would like a Hangy. And now I've said it.
Our show has peaked, you guys.
100%. This is it. And you mentioned Heady Topper earlier, and there's Pliny. Obviously, Pliny is super popular.
Well, the younger they started bottling this year too, or with Russian River. Like, it came out this year, I think. Was it bottles or cans? I think it was bottles.
No, it was bottles. You're right. It was bottles. Yeah.
I've still not had the younger, and I would very much like to.
It's good.
This is something that I would like ASAP. King Julius. That's number 10 on the top 250, I guess, of a million beers.
Is that different than the Julius that's spelled that way with a bunch of J's?
Oh, that's a triple IPA.
No, but is it King one a different one from them? Because I had a Julius with the 3 J's.
I thought you had. Did we have Julius together?
I don't think you were there when I had this.
Oh yeah, you gave it 3 stars.
I did. I probably gave it 3 stars. Sorry, Treehouse. We really want you to be here.
About this list, though, one thing that maybe works better for it compared to some others is that it's Beer Advocate. So I imagine that people who are a part of this are more high-level beer drinkers. So they're going to give you I would think, a better rating on some things. But also, I saw CBS here at number 14, and CBS for a long time founders Canadian Breakfast. That was a really good beer. It's still not a bad beer. Is it the 14th best beer around? Probably not.
Is Alistair telling us that he or she has diabetes? It just says diabetes.
What were we talking about when that comment came through?
Probably the marshmallow stout.
Probably marshmallow stout, yes.
that SR-71, is that supposed to be named after the jet, the Blackbird?
Let's find out.
Because I would say, like the airplane, does the SR-71 leak unless you're just going full force chugging it? Some aviation knowledge.
No, but it's aged in Pappy barrels. So probably delicious.
I want that as well. Top and Goliath is on this list a lot, but they're also really good at making beer.
They make a lot of good stouts.
Hey guys, where's all the Bell's Two Hearted in the top 10?
I'm at the bottom 20. Can you hang tight for a second? We've got some Julius. There's a lot of Treehouse, and nope, still can't find it. Still can't find Bell's. It's not happening. But there is a Julius again with all the J's.
Oh, I think that's the one I've had.
That's the one I had too. That's the one I had. Do you guys prefer Kentucky breakfast stout or Canadian stout?
Canadian.
I'm not a maple fan.
I think I'd rather have the KBS personally.
Just not a big maple fan. This made 25. Like the most sought after Trappist beer made 25 on this list.
I like that you sidestepped pronouncing anything there other than Trappist.
You mean Westblettern? Westblettern? Yeah, yeah. Was that good?
Sure.
It's good.
Yeah, but I don't know why you're saying it with a Boston accent.
Well, that's our show, guys. It's been a great time.
There's a lot of like you see some of the similar breweries. Like it's not a surprise some of the breweries you see named often, right? Like we know them as some of the best breweries out there. The specific beers you might maybe have never had, but it sounds good, or you've maybe not as huge a fan of it. But it's like when you see Toppling Goliath on there, when you see Treehouse on there, when you see Wakefield has It Was All a Dream at number 72. Like, these are breweries that we know make really good beers. So whether we know that beer, we know that they belong on a list of the top, however many breweries.
Where's Keystone? I haven't found it yet.
It's a great question because I know there's a person on Untappd that is doing the exact opposite of what the person I know on Untappd is doing for Coors Light, where they check into Coors Light every day, 5 times a day, with 5 stars. It's a 5-star rating. Somebody has to be doing that for Keystone.
That guy sounds drunk.
There is somebody doing it, though. There is somebody doing that.
If he really likes it, if they really like the beer, then give it the grade.
I hope he likes it. I should find the guy and ask him if he wants to be on the show. Because if he's checking into Coors Light every day with 5 stars, great.
I'm looking forward to trying to track this guy down, and you spend like months and months doing it and realize that you're just speaking to a sentient bot.
It's the one untapped bot that checks into Coors Light with 5 stars. I want to talk about
the Russians mess with you, man.
Just say it's a Russian troll farm. He's checking in on Untapped.
It's 100% a Russian troll farm, but for Coors.
They're like, this Coors is better than Russian stout.
Which, hold on, now I have to do this. We like Russian imperial stouts. We don't like Russians meddling in our elections. That's fair, right?
Accurate representation of our viewpoint on those matters.
I take that. Castworks lost their lease, and you guys know I'm a big fan of Castworks. I'm a gin fan, obviously. So Castworks lost their lease in Tempe. I'm a little bummed. I'm a lot of bummed. This was a wonderful place to pick up gin. They were making apple pie liqueur.
So good.
They had a tasting room. I don't know did you guys go to the tasting room there?
I hadn't.
It was a blast, and I'm so sad. You can almost kind of see in this picture what that tasting room looked like. But I have been there a couple times. It was incredible. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so it sounds like based on the comment they posted, they're trying to reopen at some point. But is it just that this location is completely kaput and they're going to try to eventually come back?
So they're going to find a different location. Sorry, it took me a second here, getting the little technical difficulties. I think they're supposed to try and find another location. That's what I saw from John Miller, who is one of the proprietors of the location. I hope they do, because they just installed a new still. They were going to start making, well, they did start making whiskey, like Arizona grown whiskey.
But even in their post here, they mentioned how they adjusted to making hand sanitizer on the outset of the pandemic, which is obviously a lot of places are doing. That's a really cool thing where they're not making a ton of money off of that. They're just doing right by their community. And like, I don't know if it's, obviously COVID has hit a lot of places hard, right? Their business model had to change and some places could handle it better than others, but it sounds like just their product wasn't the issue ever. Like you talked about, everyone likes what Castworks has created. Just they couldn't maybe create enough of it over the last 6 months and sell it to sustain where they're at, which is unfortunate, but it gives you hope that, once things get back to normal, they'll find another spot because people want what they have to offer. So you hope that this isn't the last we've heard of them because they make some really good stuff.
100%. I don't want to speak out of turn, and then, for the sake of full disclosure, I do know these guys personally. They make a great product. I know for a fact they were working their asses off to make it through this pandemic. I think this is just a matter of not having leaf space. I can't wait to get more Caskworks gin. There's probably a lot of bottles left, but if they become rare, I will fight everybody for a bottle of Caskworks gin. I will do that all day.
Adam, I just figured out how we're going to be able to bait a Yusuf trap in the near future. Just like, oh, is that some Caskworks gin down this hallway? Whoa.
You're making
What was that?
I said, if you're making a Yusuf trap, is it going to look like a cat trap where it just shuts behind me?
I mean, if we're going with a humane one.
Like, what are we trying to trap him for?
We can't talk about it on the air.
No, I'm trying. I want to work through this because obviously, like a Yusuf trap sounds great, but then what happens when we catch him?
I mean, it's like a dog chasing a car's tire. You never think you're actually going to catch him, and you don't know what to do once you catch it.
We'll just give him a ball of yarn or something in there, and it'll be fine.
A ball of yarn would keep me entertained for hours. 100%. In more exciting news, I can't do this with a straight face. I'm sorry. Can someone talk about this?
I mean, it just shows you that the brewery that invented lagers is really just.
State 48 Brewery is opening a 6th location because we keep talking shit about the place that has 6 locations for some reason. I can't figure it out.
I don't know the people behind State 48 Brewery. I know a lot of people who like their stuff. Well, I know some people who like their stuff. I've been to their place in Scottsdale a couple of times and admittedly never been impressed with it. But I'd like to think they're doing something right if they can keep expanding this way. Although it was a couple months ago, they were doing like a crowdsourcing thing or a crowdfunding to get people to buy stock into their company. So maybe that was a success.
Could be. I mean, they're not the first people to do that in the beer community. But they have Surprise, Glendale, Scottsdale, downtown Phoenix, and North Phoenix. That's Phoenix. that's just Phoenix.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere. And they didn't make the first lager, but maybe we should give them a shot, guys.
I mean, I've only gone, I think, to the downtown location just because it's right next to the concert venues downtown, like the hipster concert venues. That is
the hipster concert venues.
Well, I'm not going to like U.S. Airways Center for Taylor Swift.
The article says that their Gilbert location is targeting a Christmas opening.
And they're taking over a Gordon Biersch at Santan Village. That seems like form meeting function. Taking over Gordon Biersch.
They opened up, I think it was their Rock House, which is in the Norterra area in North Phoenix.
Yeah.
Not long ago, like during the pandemic. And then to be opening up or planning to open up the Gilbert one on what's hopefully the other side of the pandemic. Like it's an interesting strategy, and obviously they know their numbers and everything. Like I'm not a businessman, I'm not trying to open a restaurant or a brewery or anything like that. But it seems like it's quite the challenge they've undertaken. So I guess for the beer community, like want places to succeed, and so I don't know their people personally. I know they were the joke of the internet for a little while about the lager thing, and that's always fun to poke fun at them for. But there's obviously people who like what they're doing, So,
Well, that's a fair point to make. The only reason that they are the butt of any joke is the lager comment. Otherwise, I don't see anything wrong with it. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. That's the lager comment. That one did it in for me. But
Yeah, I mean, I think they've made a few comments to people on the interwebs that maybe rubbed people the wrong way, but some of those were to people who have also made comments on the internet that have rubbed people the wrong way. So, you know.
And the can of "I'm masking you nicely" has nothing to do with any of that at all.
Nope.
Nope.
say it again.
Okay, it might a little. I'm sorry. It does say anything to do with Evar on the side of the can.
Like, we've talked with Weedy about that, and I think Brent and I, we talked with Matt at Tombstone about that whole thing. Like, when the State 48 Lager issue came out, like, it was funny for a lot of people, it was upsetting for some, but then they all kind of made nice about it. You know, they're like, hey, let's brew a beer. You know, like, it's not a personal thing. It was just kind of like a slip of the tongue, a dumb thing to say, but they kind of got over it, people. Now, the craft beer community, people like us, we still poke fun about it, but the beer community does, like the brewing community doesn't seem to be too upset about it. You know, I guess it's 2 years later or whatever.
So this is a perfect comment to drive that home from Joel Latundras. Their food is above average for a brewery. Their beers don't have to be great for in-house consumption. Pretty sure the people that go there don't care that their beer is mediocre. And that's how the whole concept of Gordon Biersch, or was it Rock Bottom, I think was the name of the other place? Like, those places were built. If the food is great and the beer is okay, fine.
If there's craft beer to have with your really good meal, you'll be satisfied. Yeah.
And that, I will say that I have not personally experienced it. I've heard great things about the food that Mario Rena has in his restaurants and bars. So,
I mean, to be fair, that's when Helio Basin opened. I went there entirely for Chef Tamara, and that was before I knew who Chef Tamara was, but I was like, hot damn, this food is great, and that's why I'm here. Oh, and there's beers to try.
I just want you to know that I just imagined you opening the door to Helio Basin, walking in and going, hot damn, this food is great.
This meat on a stick. I'm going to eat it.
Because in my mind,
that's how amazing meat stick things.
And the problem is she still does that at Cotton and Copper. Well, it's not a problem. It's fantastic.
It sounds like not the problem.
It's not the problem.
Speaking of, aren't we supposed to have her, like, kick your ass during a show?
So apparently Tamara thought this was a joke. But you guys were all here for that, right?
Yeah, I remember that, and I was looking forward to it.
So Tamara thought it was a joke that I submitted myself to get choked out for charity, and she thought I would not be willing to do so. So Tamara, if you're watching, or when you watch this, you can still choke me out for charity. For charity. But yeah.
Joel was also commenting on another one of those kind of cheap breweries out there.
Oh, BJ's?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a different style, though. Like, if people like, I guess us, we're the snobs of beer, but, like, we're not going there. We don't go to a place for the food. We go to the brewery for the beer.
I mean, I just said I'm a fan of BJ's.
We got a yay. Wait, so Blondie Locks 33 says wave if you're reading the chat, and then gave us a yay. Hi. Great profile pic. I can leave it up there and just let all of our viewers continue to watch the show.
Call it an episode.
There's one other story I liked that we found for this week. One other story that I really liked, and it kind of had to do with changes in beer festivals and stuff for right now.
Yes.
I have it pulled up there. But it was in the Mercury News, just kind of had like a multiple beer thing. But they mentioned now like the Great American Beer Festival is going to be a virtual beer event this year, which obviously makes sense. GABF, I've never been. I know it's usually in Denver, right, or in Colorado in the fall, like September, October. So I guess it's going to be October 16th to 17th this year. And they're going to be doing it all online. It's a place where, people have gone and had some amazing beers and amazing times. We have a lot of friends out here who have gone to GABF multiple years, and they have great things to say about it. But it's one of the changes where like beer festivals that we're all used to going to and enjoying, to sample new beers or just to try beers that we've enjoyed before, just have them again. They haven't happened, and people have had to adjust. And GABF is like a world-renowned beer festival, and they have to adapt their entire setup to try to keep GABF a thing.
Yeah, I mean, the plus side is nobody has to DD, and there's not going to be DUIs on the way home. Though I'd be willing to bet that Twitter and Facebook become even more of a hellscape of drunk people yelling at each other right after that event's done.
Which would be the most exciting thing if they make their own private group for GABF where people can yell at each other about things they weren't even there for. They could just yell about them.
You could do like a MAGA thing with a MAGA BAF.
I will say this: I haven't been either. I want to go to GABF. I tried to go last year, but I had to work. I even had tickets, which they're hard to come by.
I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I say always. Like since I understood what craft beer was, I've wanted to go. It wasn't like when I was 5 years old, I dreamed of going to GABF. But back then, I probably knew. Even still.
What's like the one place in Colorado you guys want to go to that you haven't been, brewery-wise? Since we is the mecca of beer.
Fort Collins. I want to go to New Belgium. It's not the best brewery in Colorado, but Fat Tire was a gateway beer for me. The first craft beer, like craftish beer. The first beer that I ever enjoyed was Fat Tire. And I'd like to shake someone's hand and thank them, even though I know whoever that person is has nothing to do with that. I just like to go there, like, and they make some good beers though. New Belgium, like I like their stuff. So, just for sentimental reasons, that's where I'd like to go in Fort Collins.
I would want to go to Cerebral and WeldWorks personally.
Yes, WeldWorks for sure. Cerebral I've been to. WeldWorks I haven't been to, but Avery, even though they have been bought, I'm sorry, I know I'm saying it. Avery was one of the best experiences I had because in Boulder they call it the mothership. It's massive. It is a huge operation, and their beer is fantastic. And you guys know the Avery beers, like the stouts especially, were really good.
A friend of mine went to Avery, a couple of years ago, and he was just texting me about what they had there. And I was incredibly jealous of like the variants of certain beers, the older beers that they had. I'm like, yep, I want to drink that beer right now.
So, Blondie Locks 33. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Has asked, have you guys had beer overseas? Ireland, Germany, Belgium, Amsterdam? Question mark? With the devil face? Gentlemen, I'll let you answer that because you guys know where I've been.
I've not been to Europe, so my answer would be boring.
Fair.
I drank a beer in Kenya. It was called Tusker. It was like their official beer. It's pretty good.
That's a place I haven't been.
I did it.
You did it. You did it. You beat me to it. Have been. Yes, to answer your question, I've been to Ireland. I have not been to Germany. Yes, I've been to Amsterdam. And I haven't been to Belgium, which is shocking.
Yeah, so I've not been overseas and I've not been to Kenya, but earlier in the public, Locks was asking, it sounds like she's from Ohio, and I have been to a foreign country called Cleveland and drank there. I actually really enjoy this city of Cleveland a lot. It's kind of cool brewery, but The quality's not that great, but it's kind of cool little.
What's the line from the Broadway musical, The Book of Mormon? Salt Lake City, a Cleveland. It's the same, right? Foreign country, a Cleveland.
I just think of those old YouTube videos of like the Cleveland tourism videos or whatever that end with "We're not Detroit." I don't know if you guys remember those. They're really funny if you're not someone who cares about Cleveland one way or the other.
I just remember hearing Cleveland Rocks when I saw
Drew Carey show.
Drew Carey show. I just sat here thinking, whose line is it anyway in my head? Who let that guy host it? I don't know. But immediately what I thought of is Drew Carey. When it came to Cleveland, it was Drew Carey.
I personally just can't believe when he started hosting The Price is Right, they didn't keep the Cleveland Rocks theme song.
When he showed up with a microphone like this, hey guys.
When they had an elderly person trying to spin the wheel, he would just have Ryan Stiles come out and pull the wheel for him.
Who the hell thought it was a good idea to let Drew Carey replace Bob Barker? Like, I grew up faking sick as a child in elementary school to watch Bob Barker. And then I ended up with Drew Carey.
Faking sick? You were hungover in elementary school, we'll admit it.
That's insulting.
Don't shit on Drew Carey as the host of Price is Right. It's hard to follow Bob Barker, but I think Drew Carey is solid. He's enjoyable. He seems like a pleasant human being.
Bob Barker got to throw a punch at Adam Sandler.
Well, yeah,
so that's hard to follow up.
I want the Price is Wrong, bitch.
The Price is Wrong. You want a piece of me?
No, I want the whole thing.
Classic moment in American film. And thank you for joining us today. Tell us what you're drinking in the comments. This might be our favorite troll ever. Or maybe not a troll.
If she's a troll, she's still watching the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's awesome.
You're not a troll. Sorry for calling you a troll, and thank you for watching the show.
You're not a troll. You're not a troll.
She's not trying to buy our couch, at least.
Yes, because the buy the couch, I'm going to call that a segment. I need to go find that and cut it and put it online. But the buying a couch segment was amazing.
Oh, see? Apparently we're on Twitch.
Yes, there it is. Thank you. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Because we're on Twitch.
Hopefully you're enjoying it.
Yeah, and you're not asking how much the couch is that we don't have anywhere. Because somebody else on Twitch asked how much our couch was. And it wasn't around. I don't know what couch.
And they got really mad when we weren't selling any of our couches, I feel like.
They got really mad.
Yeah.
I can find it.
It's like, joke's on you, man. I'm here to buy couches.
This whole stream was started for us to find couches. We don't have couches. I'm sitting on a keg right now. That's what I'm using as a chair. A beer keg.
I believe you.
I don't.
Oh.
Well, gentlemen, you guys had a great time yesterday at the old Casual Pint. And a wonderful Labor Day. I hope.
Yeah. I actually got out a little bit this weekend, dined in at a couple places for the first time, like inside an establishment since early March, which is kind of weird when you think about it. But it was fairly comfortable at all but, I guess, one spot that we went to all weekend in terms of distancing. And you felt like, okay, there's enough space. It's being done the right way. If this is how we can do these things during a pandemic safely, like this is how it has to be. And, Casual Pint was great. Justin there does a great job spacing people out. And we were outside drinking for part of it too, which is obviously super safe. Ground Control that my fiance and I went to on Saturday. Ian does a great job. And he had it laid out perfectly there too. So Like it
Did
can.
you get a sandwich?
He made my fiance got the chicken sandwich. She got like the super hot one because she said she liked spicy, so that's what she got. It might have been it was, she liked it. It was apparently really hot. I asked Ian to make me, he had posted something on Facebook about like a grilled cheese that he made, like a Nashville hot grilled cheese or whatever. So I asked him for, so when I came into this place, I mean, he saw me come in, like he started making something and he made me like a grilled cheese, but with the chicken inside of it. And he's like, "You're the first person to ever try this one, so let me know what you think." I liked it a lot.
I would have liked to visit Ian this weekend. We did go to one place. I won't say the name because I'm going to be nice. But we did. You and I ran into each other downtown on Saturday.
Oh, I wanted us downtown. They did a great job as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the places we went to downtown were amazing. We went to one place where we walked in and we felt a little uncomfortable. A lot of uncomfortable.
When we walked in, it was comfortable, and then more people kept showing up and being allowed entrance, and then it got less comfortable.
That's what it was. So, not that we're trying to point fingers or tell anybody what to do, but stop. That bullshit. There's a pandemic happening. Stop doing dumb shit.
And wash your damn hands.
And please, like, wear a mask and wash your damn hands.
Yeah.
Because I'm personally, I'm exhausted with all of this. This is exhausting. But yes, it was good. It was a good weekend. It was nice to be able to run into each other, which we wouldn't have done during the pandemic normally, where we just happened to be out, hanging out in the neighborhood. So that was cool. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
It was
And
good.
Brett, you had a good weekend yourself, I know. Got a little music in, a little jam session.
I think Mr. Ledford and I spent about 14 hours playing music over 2 days. It was delightful. We were saying that maybe we'll have to start doing some distance little music clips for like the STVC story or something like that. Or if maybe we'll go play at a low capacity bar as a distance show for a show.
Well, I do this for that. I did tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
We can make that.
Capacity shows, though. You guys are stars. You fill up the joint.
You know, it's you can guarantee a sellout at 25% capacity, though.
If the capacity is 73.
I mean, my mom will bring 3 people.
Somebody do the math. I'm not doing it. So 25% of 73.
Way to pick a prime number, Dick.
Yeah. Oh, I put everybody on the spot, just not myself.
Guys, football season starts this week, the NFL.
Turn it off.
Like everyone's doing their fantasy drafts, and like Thursday's the first game of the season. It's actually going to happen.
I still don't believe that it's going to happen.
They're going to get week 1 in.
Probably. But like, what happens?
I feel more likely that NFL will get through something that resembles a full season than college football will.
I guess the Cowboys are allowed to have fans. Like they're like, we're going to have fans in our stadium, and like no one else is doing that. And everybody's like, okay, Jerry Jones, good luck with that.
But that sounds like Texas. Are we surprised?
No.
And I heard, what was there college football this weekend? Like North Carolina played?
There were some smaller programs that played, and I think the SEC still plans on playing. You know, there's conferences that plan on going through the season, but we're always seeing like we're starting to see games getting postponed because of COVID. So like we'll see.
The SEC will like step over their dead grandmother who died of coronavirus to play.
Because it's important to play football. But I'm looking forward to the NFL season starting. I am. Like, it'll be nice, fantasy football and all those things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I have two. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I didn't play fantasy football a few years ago. I actually didn't watch football aside from watching ASU play football my senior year and then continuing to watch them and getting season tickets. I wasn't a football fan. I watched a lot of soccer. I mean, real football. Real football.
Football.
Football. See.
Why do you get season tickets for ASU if you leave in the first half every time?
I don't want to hear this anymore from you. You just. Well, that was a lot of fun, Adam. I really enjoyed the show, and
So weird to see someone else get distanced.
it's okay. It happens.
Like that's what it looks like. Okay.
You're through the looking glass now, Adam.
Don't tempt me. Well, gentlemen, should we wrap it up?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a great plan. Thank you guys for joining us. I want to give a quick shout out to Joel. Joel sent us a link. I don't know what that link is. I'll look at it later. And specifically to Blondie Locks because his person's name is Blondie Locks, and that's hilarious. It's great.
They don't need a couch, so.
And they don't need a couch.
Strong flex, Blondie Locks.
But hey, Blondie Locks, we've got a couch to sell.
I don't.
I don't either. I don't.
I need my couch. I need somewhere to sit.
I like mine. I'm keeping it. Gentlemen, salud. We'll see you guys on Thursday for another episode of Social Distance Drinking Club, 7:30, and then Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Adios.
Cheers. I did it, guys. I drank a whole seltzer.